In a small, small house was a small, small boy with a big, big dream, 'cause he loved his wooden toy, and when he grew right up, he was sure to give it time for his act to succeed, and he played a brilliant lead. And oh, how it was grand with the puppet on his hand, at his every small command, oh, how quickly they would stand, and as time pressed on, he could seem to do no wrong, as the crowd would come in throngs, and sing his name in song. But here's what you should know, for the show that filled the rows was attended well at first, but it seemed to catch a curse, for those seats that once were filled were seeming less than thrilled, as the puppet and the man weren't the freshest in the land. So his reaction wasn't good, he thought the crowds had understood, he simply did the best he could, he and his little boy of wood. So he thought well and hard about how to be a star, and he noticed there a pair with not a single seat to spare. Ah, goodness, how was that, and what was better than his act? But he felt it in his tummy, could it maybe be the dummy? But to him he felt so real, would the people see appeal? If he were to be more natural, well, he'd have to make that factual. But he'd need a little help. So he asked for a hand. Well, it was more of a demand. But he still seemed pretty dead. At least he'd need to have some legs. And of course he couldn't hear, but that he'd need a pair of ears. And he already had a sniffer. 'Twas the eyes that were the kicker. And he stole a woman's heart, which simply tore her right apart. And to be quite entertaining, he knew a brain would need obtaining. So with all the needed parts, he knew he had to make a start. So he sewed and he mended, until all the pieces blended.
He was quite pleased with himself, actually. Pat on the back, he thought.
Now the final act arrived, with the man so full of pride, he was truly quite surprised to hear a knock. So when he opened up the door, he could see he lost the draw. He was greeted not so kindly by the cops. So they took him far away, where he'd never see a stage, or a mic, or a crowd, or a toy. But I'll tell you to this day that he'd never stray away from the passion that he held as a boy. The end.